Welcome back. This is Today, and many indexes and polls have shown that South Africans are opting for cheaper cuts and processed meat as food inflation remains high. eNCA business anchor Melissa Tighy spoke to Johan Hunter, who's the general manager for meat markets at the Shoprite Group, about the consumer's approach.
Stats SA released their latest CPI data for July this week, with food inflation still sticky at 10%. Meat inflation is at 5.1%. We're here at the Shoprite Checkers Championship boerewors competition, and with me we have Mr. Johan Hunter. He is the general manager for meat markets. To talk a bit more about food prices in general. Johan, thank you so much for joining us today. Johan, what have you guys seen at Shoprite and Checkers in terms of higher food prices and specifically high meat prices?
Yeah, look, meat prices over the last few years has always been quite pricey, but I think consumers still pay for quality, and I think when they come to shop, they don't come with a preset list to the meat department. There's such a big range. I think people come there, walk through the cabinet, and when you generally look at buying lamb chops versus rump, at the end, the cost is more or less the same. So I think people buy fresh, and I don't think they're ever going to slow down on buying meat, although it is a luxury.
Johan, we've seen many indexes and polls saying that consumers are choosing cheaper cuts and processed meat in this high inflationary environment. What you're telling me now, that's not exactly the case with your stores, but do you anecdotally see some changes in consumer behavior?
Yeah, look, whenever you give lamb away at cost and under cost, you will always have an influx of people buying bulk. But I don't think in meat, as I said, because everything is expensive, people want good service, and when they spend the money, I think they want good quality. And that's what I see in the stores. People generally don't buy a whole trolley full of rump, and they generally don't buy, I think, they don't have big braais where they buy chops, wors, chicken, the whole lot anymore, but I think people do make an evening, which they might call a wors evening, and have different sauces and so on. So that's how I see the things is changing, but they definitely still buy.
Johan, this might be a very broad question, but what is your outlook for the next few months, for the next year and a half, while we're still stuck in a quite high inflation environment, and also still the high interest rates as well?
Yeah, look, you have the general trends of meat, like lamb's expensive currently, and it will be like that up to October, November. You will see a slight cheaper lamb on the shelf, but then, of course, it's December again. So the general trends of meat, I think, will still be followed. The wild card is the Saudi market that opened after 21 years, I think. That might see an increase, especially in steak pricing with the exports. But then again, we've seen steak being very expensive, and we've seen the up and downs previously. People will still eat meat.
Thank you so much. That was Mr. Johan Hunter. He is the general manager for meat markets at Shoprite Checkers.